In this video, I am using an Acer Laptop from 2007. And the OS on it was Windows 7. I think that was the year it came out. And see, I'm opening the back part, which has a little ventilation. It stores the RAM, the hard drive, and the two 2 GB slots of RAM, 500 GB hard drive. In this part, you see I'm trying to open the front casing, which is much more difficult than the previous task. Because a lot of pieces are glued, like the keyboard, and there's wiring running through it, so that it's more difficult to remove that piece. But still surprisingly easy to completely remove every piece of the laptop than a newer one, especially those MacBooks, which are mostly glued in because screws would just make it too easy for someone to reverse engineer, and a third party could easily start a repairing business. And also, the lack of the screws means that you can make it thinner. This one was pretty thick for its time, and it was very heavy, so I'm glad it wrote out after a while, because I just recently purchased the newer laptop, which I'll have another video about shortly. But this laptop has lasted me a long time, and I put it through a lot of use, like March 2, and running like Photoshop and other heavy applications. So I'm not too mad. It lasted me close to 7 years. It was $500 at the time. My money well spent. See, I'm still, before the casing starts to move, see me struggling to move it, and I sped up the whole, because the original footage was about an hour long. So it takes like double or triple the time to remove these pieces. And I deleted most of the videos of just me unscrewing the screws because that's just boring. But that's the laptop. You need to do that. Thought I would have been able to reach out other things. If you're trying to do this at home, please do what I do. I managed to take out the SD card reader. Looks pretty small. Pretty slick. That was besides the RAM, my second unit I was able to take out. Pretty impressive. The other units are going to be more difficult because they're stuck on the motherboard, as you'll see soon. Got the removable battery before, so I wouldn't get shocked or have any other issues. So I just suggest you do so as well. Lithium ion is not used. You see, I'm still struggling to get the keyboard out, and it was like the keyboard, like I said before, was attached to it seemed like it was attached to the CPU or the bottom piece of the casing. Having trouble getting out there. With a lot of brute force, he could do anything. You see, I'm using a screwdriver as a wedge here. Just 200 times speed, and it still look pretty slow. And it's pretty hard to dissect. Folks at Acer made a pretty good laptop. They shoved everything in there. Imagine how most of the other laptop brands would do the same. I'm still struggling. So now I decided to take it outside, as this next part is going to get dirtier. And I'm afraid like more stuff are going to go all over the place. And I don't want to ruin my house. There's the bent keyboard, and I'm going to use the other side of the hammer to attempt to remove the keyboard, which is pretty easy. Some keys fall out. And then it's so much easier to remove the case with a hammer instead of your own hands. Let's see you do that soon. I want to get like one of those nice hammers, and it'll save you a lot of time. I wanted to try to get as many pieces intact or destroying it. Kind of see the CPU and the connection ports, and you can tell the bottom piece looks like it's either like spray painted plastic or it is a type of sheet metal. And that's what makes it so heavy, I guess. That's the unit that owns the touchpad. It's pretty cool to play around with. Similar input to any regular keyboard, just a tap. And I'm just getting most of the internals out. Trying to take out the CD drive unit. I'm so glad that manufacturers stopped including CD drives in new laptops, because I barely used mine, and when you try putting one in, the whole laptop seems to vibrate, and it just doesn't feel nice. Taking Apple's initiative, which is good. See, there's like a plastic piece there. I wasn't sure what it's for. I was having trouble removing that. And then that silver piece, the fan underneath it, cool the system so it won't overheat. I was doing pretty graphic intensive stuff, so I should have got like a second fan unit. See, I did not clean out the fan with the air compressor. I should have done that. It would have increased the productivity of myself. Here I'm unscrewing the hinges of the screen. That part was pretty easy to take out once you unscrewed it. But there's still some connecting cables from the display to the central processing unit and the motherboard in general. So I had to rip those out manually. That was probably one of the easier steps. What I realized, under that thing that looks like an H is the CPU soldered to the motherboard, and on top of that was another fan. That was, I would say, the most difficult thing to take out. You need like a welding device. That is clearly the most important unit. It needs to be cold, so that's why I'm doing some more unscrewing to remove the motherboard from the casing. And I got as you could see, I was able to take out the CD drive. It's pretty thin, surprisingly. It's pretty easy to rip open, but it's like somewhat strong aluminum. On the box, I'll get that later. I'm going back to it, and now I'm trying to remove the CPU from the casing, but the USB ports, the HDMI ports, VGA, and all that are connected like directly in there, so it's more difficult to remove it. You need to like pull it out first, then lift it up. One chip out. Hard to tell because it's a spit up, so we just have to pause the video if you really want to see what they look like. So I'm gonna probably take apart my newer laptop soon. You can see how much technology has evolved. It's a lot smaller transistors. That was a hard drive. You saw it before from the bottom, but I was attempting to take it out here. That was more difficult because I only had 2 screwdrivers, and these were really small screws. So I had to brute force it. But surprisingly, with only 2 screws, I was able to dissect the majority of the laptop pretty easily. You just get two somewhat small screws and you should be good if you have a PC. For Mac though, you'll need more specialized devices because Apple uses their own screws to keep the truth out. So the fan was an odd, was kind of stuck to the motherboard as well, so I had to get that out. I'm trying to pull the motherboard there. I was afraid that I was going to crack it. I'm trying to do it hard, but silicon is pretty strong. Almost got it out. Pulling. See, there's still connections in there. See how dusty the fan is. Long-term use. And so if you notice, there's these purplish flares. It's because the camera I was using was not the best. It was outdoors and the sun was very bright. That's just the effect it causes. Very interesting. It'd be cool if I could replicate it in my video editing program. Introduction. I'll do that next time. So I almost got the CPU out. I'm trying to get the display off. So, quick warning about the display. It is made, yours probably made of something similar to LCD or liquid crystal display. So, it is not safe to, and although I tried, I stopped after there was a warning message on the label. Maybe next time if I have the proper equipment, I can show you exactly what it said. But yeah, if you're destroying your own laptop, please be careful in that sense. I think it's probably poisonous. It's a dangerous chemical, similar to lithium ion. You should not try to break open a battery of a laptop. It's a very bad idea. It's able to disconnect the motherboard, and you can see the fans attached. Display is the back casing, which is not a pressure, but just a piece of metal and some plastic. Now I'm going to try to remove the fan. That little coil, I think it was made of copper, that connects it to the power unit, to like a direct connection to the power unit. So it could be I think one of the first or second priority items turned on, because without a fan, your laptop's going to overheat. Or any computer for that matter. Trying to remove it. I successfully remove the fan. Connection. There's still that copper wiring and a few other pieces, so I'm trying to I'm removing another unit. Back the fan. Some screws are obviously harder, so I decided to just switch back and forth, and that was easier for me between different tasks. This fan was pretty easy to remove. Now, and you can tell there's pretty cheap soldering. Like there's tape all over the place. Paper all over the place. It was pretty bad manufacturing. So glad it worked. It did, partly my fault. That it went through many drops, but for a laptop I paid $500 for it. Very good quality. The RAM chip stock. Pretty cool. Acer built it intentionally so you could easily remove the RAM chips and upgrade them. It was annoying because I wanted to add a GPU or graphical processing unit for the higher end stuff, and you simply can't do it because it's integrated with that AMD chip. So if you want to do a lot of gaming, you should get a laptop with like a NVIDIA processor. AMD makes some, but it's more difficult to find if it's integrated or not, because they normally make the CPUs as well. I would go with in the video because it also works with Adobe products much better. So one thing I regret. Now I'm opening the CD drive. There are a lot of small screws, smaller than most screwdrivers I've seen before, so it's more difficult to do it. I felt like I wanted to get in, so I decided to try ripping it open using a hammer. You'll see that soon. It's not pretty impressive because a regular CD drive is basically see everything that happens. There's some pretty cool. You see when I unscrewed the two larger screws, they're kind of like a shock resistor built in. Because when you're using a CD drive, it tends to shake the laptop, so you don't want to ruin the CD. I was able to rip it, and you could see how it came out. It was a pretty cool unit. It pushes out, and there's filtering mechanism. And then there's a little computer chip in the inside, controls it from the OS. Some programs allow you to remove the CD drive, remove the CD from the CD drive, and it will do it automatically for you. So now that I did that, started breaking the hard drive and the CPU. The hard drive was most important to me. I didn't have any illegal files. It was just personal information, other stuff like that. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace.